In this video, I want to talk about why building fast is more important than building right, okay? Or trying to build the perfect thing when you're trying to build a software as a service, okay? A minimum viable product. I think this is one of the most important changes that I did in my career because when I was starting out, I was overcomplicating everything and it was taking me more than 9 months to launch a minimum viable product, which is something obviously completely impossible. But my systems were a complete disaster. So I went from launching apps in almost 9 months to having a system that lets me launch applications in less than 3 weeks. If it's the first time that you're watching my videos, my name is Justo. I take your idea and I convert it into a working product in less than 3 weeks, so you don't have to go through all that hassle of creating the minimum viable product. So the first thing that I see, okay, is that most of the people fall into the trap, okay? Always the same trap of wanting to do everything right, okay, or everything perfect. They want a clean architecture, a good user experience, features that make sense, something they can be proud of. And I won't say no. In some part it makes sense, but there is a problem, okay? Doing it right assumes you already know what is right, and at the start you don't. That's why you create the minimum viable product. I didn't know, okay, what was right at that moment. So you plan, you think a lot, you delay the launch because it's not ready yet. And here's the issue, okay? A lot of people think that building fast is not being responsible. When people hear build fast, they usually associate building fast with shipping something mediocre, being careless, but instead it means reducing the time between an assumption and the reality, okay? Every software as a service starts as a set of assumptions, okay? Who it's for, what problem matters, what solution helps, what someone would be willing to pay. Those are all assumptions that then you validate with a minimum viable product. So why doing it right is dangerous early on. If you spend months perfecting something based on unvalidated assumptions, you're not increasing your chances of success. You're increasing the cost of being wrong, okay? When reality arrived, you already have too much emotional attachment, too much time invested, and very little flexibility. I'm talking about my first step. If you read the book The Lean Startup, you will already know what I'm talking about, okay? On top of that, if you develop the product fast, you have fast feedback, okay? And fast feedback is insurance. When you build fast, you expect to be wrong. You learn in small doses and you adjust without drama. When you build slow, your identity merges with the product. So you start blaming yourself and you don't take action. Feedback feels personal and every problem feels enormous. And this is something that I was doing and I think a lot of people still do. I used to measure progress by lines of code, features, or hours worked. But instead, real progress is clarity gained, assumptions eliminated, and decisions simplified. So why overthinking feels productive? And this is something that a lot of people don't pay don't pay attention to because this is something unconscious. Because you are designing flows, optimizing edge cases, thinking about scaling, and imagining future users. Things that are not important at this time, okay? The only thing important when you're building the MVP is to validate the first assumption. So speed forces you to stop overthinking. Speed removes that comfort because it forces you to clash with reality. And reality doesn't care how elegant or how good your solution is supposed to be or it is. As I was telling you, building fast forces better decisions. When time is limited, you are forced to ask better questions. What matters right now? What can I ignore? What is the smallest version that still teaches me something. Speed is a skill, okay, not a personality trait. And building fast requires being humble. Accept that the first version is not going to impress. There will be people who don't get it, and that is okay, okay? Speed is choosing learning over image. And I believe there is a very similar quote from Alex Hormozzi, okay? Moving fast creates information, information creates trust, and trust creates better decisions. Once again, thank you very much for watching. If you want me to help you convert an idea into a working minimum viable product, you can book a one-on-one call. I will leave you the links on the comment section. You can subscribe, you can hit the like button, so in that way we can keep reaching new people, and I hope to see you on the next video.